Hey everybody, I'm Brandon. Welcome to Mechanic to Mechanic. We've got a great crew here today, Nate, Quill, Jasmine, and Tony. We're going to be talking about our sourcing and networking for parts. You might be surprised at how difficult that is right now in 2024. So in the process of putting together the shops that I've been a part of in the last 14 years, parts have come up, come down, but as of recently there's been a big issue about parts within the last 8 years of to date of not having any parts availability at all. And there's everybody here I'm sure has a lot of insight on how to get around that. Nate, do you have anything that you've had to do to get current parts for new year models?
Well, just not long ago, it's been like 3 or 4 days ago, I was working on a car and the rear window regulator went bad. And this one has a inner panel that is a part of the regulator.
Oh.
And I went around looking for it through multiple vendors. I've got about 4 or 5 at my disposal at the shop that I work at. And found only 2 of them actually had the panel available. And upon further inspection, looking at it closer, the panel wasn't even the right one for the vehicle, even though it was looked up through the VIN in our system. And I then ended up having to go to the dealership and end up finding that they were able to get it for me. Unfortunately, they did, but it just goes to show how half of them didn't have it and the other half said they did, but it was the wrong part. So I think I run into things like that quite often.
What's the solution?
This ended up having to go to the dealership just and give them the part number, and I have to have them email me the diagrams that they have to their disposal up there just so I can verify that it was the right part.
Sometimes a picture might be the solution. Sending a picture. I think you ever had to send a picture?
Yes, several times.
You
And
send the part number 1,000 times.
it's not only sending the picture. Sometimes you gotta go with the own part of the stores.
Yeah.
What happened is, like you said, it's lately. I mean, when not lately, it's already been like a couple of years, maybe more. It's real hard to find some parts for everything. So it's incredible. Back in the days, it's because they said that the vehicles are too old. You don't find parts.
Right.
Now vehicles
Too
are
new.
new, and still you go looking for parts. They don't have. So it's you're not this place. You go to another place before this other store. They don't have it.
Right.
And what's going on? I do not know. What's been happening? And I know some other parts that came overseas, of Canada or some other places, but it's still hard to get parts. So for me, like I said, not only sending pictures, sometimes taking the part myself, physically
Physically
so
to the person.
and go there, and still you have a problem. And what is this coming from, and who is coming from this, and where it goes? It goes from here to here, and it's really a pain.
Well, I think
It's hard.
in the parts industry, we all probably have run into this. There's less and less people taking the time to understand how to find and source parts for the business. So finding somebody that really knows how to get your parts, especially current ones, is going to be more and more difficult. So it becomes more and more important to take the time and go through the different businesses and find people who can source parts for you. And I think you know a lot about that. You got any insight on sourcing parts, new ones?
I say from 2017 up until 2024.
Yes.
And you had a good point when you said you have to have that right person to find the sources. When I first started being like a parts pro, I didn't have those sources. So I had to take time to find these second sources, find these vendors, instead of, oh, I can't find it.
Yeah.
A shop hates that. When it's like, oh, we don't have it, or, oh, it be here in 2 days. They want you to go above and beyond.
Yes.
Now, the people that I shop with, the people that shop with me, certain shops, they like calling me first because they know I'm not going to stop at that one vendor. Yeah, I'm going to keep on going. My last option is the dealer because I know they charge an arm and a leg. But sometimes they might have that part, and like Nate said, sometimes they might not. It might look like it's the right part, and you might give them the VIN, and everything, and it still come up wrong. Perfect example. I needed to get a drive shaft for somebody. Called the dealership, gave them the VIN. They're like, yeah, we got it. We'll get it in 3 to 5 business days. Ooh, told my customer. Ooh, came back. I gave them the VIN. It was for a F350. They gave me a drive shaft for a F150.
Yeah. And you're leaning on somebody else who's supposed to know parts.
Oh my goodness. That was the worst 3 days of my life. But I did not stop. I got that drive shaft, and that drive shaft will be here Monday. But it's not, certain people don't take that time to really try and find it. Like I'm never going to give up. I'm never going to tell you no. I'm going to say, hey, give me like 30 minutes to an hour. I'll call you back because I want them to know that Jasmine is going to find that
Sometimes
part.
you might need a day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, you're absolutely right.
You know, to the shop, sometimes they might need a day. If you're calling, if you're asking them for a very difficult to find part and you really need it, give the person you've trusted before a little bit of time to find that part.
Yeah.
But guess what? So, like she says, she ordered that part and it took 3 days. I've been having this problem with customers that they don't get it. They do not understand.
No.
At all.
You talk to you, and you are in that position. I talk to them and say, hey, I got a part coming in 3 days.
Yeah.
So they gonna call you in 3 days.
Yeah.
Hey, come my,
They're gonna call you
come
the day
my
That's
before.
right. Yeah.
And guess what? They send you the wrong part. 50. So you gotta send it back, and guess what? Wait another 3 days.
Yeah.
And what if the part that you got that was wrong after you waited that long, and the one that was actually right turns out to be a price difference? Then you got to
Exactly.
sit there.
That's the other
and
thing.
expect your customer to
That's
deal
the
with
other
it.
problem.
The whole
It's
situation.
different.
He's
You
got
got it
very good
already. You got it already, your customer, for the price and the timing. And guess what? He's gonna be pissed because
It puts stress on relationships.
Yes.
yes. They calling you and said, you're not very professional. You told me 3 days, and it's been a week. And it's not your fault, but I mean, it's hard to. I mean, they don't see it that way. They don't get it.
Well,
Yeah, and you've been working hard from the beginning, and then now you're having to work extra hard just to be able to help show them that you're putting in the extra work just to try and do a good service.
And they don't see that. They just want their car fixed.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
as
Like
fast
yesterday.
as McDonald's. I think fast food has made that very difficult for us. They're experiencing speed, and then they're trying to transfer that
Especially
over
with
to a
quick
1,000
lube shops and stuff like that nowadays. They think it's gonna do the same thing at a mechanic shop.
Expect a bad review from that
They want
customer.
1,000 horsepower.
These
engine
guys
tomorrow.
are liars.
Nah, I think it all boils down to the different type of communication and stuff that you have with customers. So I used to always live by this rule when I sold parts. When I did parts before I did service, I lived by this one rule that people can't tell time.
Right.
So that's what you really gotta understand. People can't tell time. So if I knew for a fact that it was gonna take me 30 minutes to get this part changed, right? I look at my watch right now. You know what I'm saying? Let's say it's 6:30. I'm not gonna tell you, yo, give me 30 minutes. I'm gonna tell you, hey, it'll be at your shop at 7:05. And I'm gonna tell you the exact time. So you see how you said you were telling 3 days, they call you on that 3 days. No, it'll be here Tuesday.
You know,
Like more than as specific as you could possibly be.
yeah.
Then I learned that on the service side is when you having communication with them every step of the way. Like I was literally a person who, say for instance, I'm doing struts on your car. When they take the struts out, I'm walking to the customer. Hey, listen, we just got the struts out. I'm waiting for the struts to come.
Communicate quickly.
The struts pull up.
Yeah.
I'm going to the customer. Hey, look, the struts just came. We're going to put them in, get you right out.
So, Quill, it's funny that you brought that up because that was actually what I was leading into is what can we as shops do to handle that problem? Because we can't put the problem on the customer. We all know that. And every one of us, I'm sure, has solutions that we use. But funny enough, that's the one I was going to bring up.
Give when it comes to
Right.
the guests.
Like,
Like
take the amount of time,
literally.
multiply it by 3 is typically what I do. Give yourself that you're giving extra time for the person bringing you the part, you're giving extra time for the customer for communication. And if you use that time, you multiply it by 3 and you communicate with the customer the entire way through, and it only takes you 2/3 of the 3 times as much time as you put on there, guess what? The customer is happy because you're thinking 30 minutes because somebody on another phone told you 30 minutes, but in reality, it really was going to take an hour and 30 minutes.
Right. And then also time is really an illusion. So
Yep.
if you're sitting there and you just waiting with complete silence, then it feels like
Yes.
But if I talk to you,
Mm-hmm.
The faster
you
you
know
get
what
on
I'm
the phone.
saying? So I had customers sitting in the shop and wait for me maybe 45 minutes. Be furious. I had customers that waited 5 hours. We talked the whole 5 hours.
Some of that extra time we need to give ourselves to source parts, get them to the shop, and get them installed on cart. That's time for us to communicate with the customer. Let's say you're saying, a 3-hour job, brake job. You need to tell them 5 hours, maybe 6, just to be safe. The reason you need to tell them that is a phone call with the customer might take 15 minutes. That's 15 minutes you can't call and see if your part's on the way.